Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 9, Episode 4, DJI Firmware updates to end. Hope everyone is doing well. Got a full crowd in the house tonight. Let's see who all we got here. We got Michael Wright here. John is here. Joan Schatz, Jody. Let's see who else we got. Bud Bieber. Welcome, Bud. Welcome, RJ Redding. DD Fellows. And your Utah Mammoth are up 1-0 right now into the first period. Let's see who else we got here. Joni Oki, welcome, my friend. See who else. Art's here. Welcome, Art. Let's see who else we got. Carlos Moran, welcome, Carlos. Sergeant Rock, welcome. Good to see you. Let's see who else we got. Richard is here. Waypoint New England, welcome. Good to see you. Kana 7782. Michael Wright again. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Everybody's doing well tonight. Been an interesting time down here. We have like freezing temperatures right now, and on Saturday night or evening, we're supposed to possibly get snow flurries. It'll be the first time since I moved here about 15 years ago that we're going to be faced with that. Valerie's actually seen snow down here before, so. But it is a rare occurrence. It's one of those things. I'm going to be out in full force. If it's not too dark, I'm going to get one of the drones out. I'm going to be getting my action cam out and my regular phone as well, too, because it's going to be an event that you don't want to miss. So, yeah, it's one of those very rare occurrences down here. And we had to pull all the plants in. And then if it gets cold enough, we have a hibiscus out there that we're going to need to cover up. Got a tarp to do that, but it's like, wow. I mean, I did not move down. I moved down here to, all know why I moved down to Florida. Okay. I married it for the sunshine and warmth of my beautiful wife. I did not marry it for freezing temperatures. Okay. Lord, let's get this squared away in a hurry here. And for all of you guys up north, hope you all are safe. I know it was a pretty bad winter storm up north. Hope you guys have stayed safe. I know I've seen a lot of pictures of people cooking wonderful stews and soups on the stove, which is the best way in the world to stay warm during a time like this. So, all right, sounds good. Ron's going to join me here in a little bit. I have a few things to talk about tonight, especially that firmware update. I know we're gonna spend some time talking about that, and also, of course, now it's not Steeler Coach Church Nation. We're going to be talking about Steeler head coach Mike McCarthy Nation and see what's up with all that. And he had his introductory press conference today, and we'll spend some time talking about that as well, too. So, like I said, I hope everybody's doing well. DJI has not stopped with sales and here in the United States. It's just taking a different form, so to speak. We'd like to buy through the website, but that's not available. So, we're still able to buy through Amazon. And, I did see some discussion about that during the week here. And this isn't, I don't have a specific article that I'm referencing here, but I just want to let you guys know, we're very fortunate to be able to, look out for the falling iguanas. Yeah, seriously. And they do. Yeah, seriously, that they do. And that's absolutely true here. Sean from Air Photography, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by tonight. That's awesome. Dronioki. Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. And that's all I got to say about that. So, yeah. But no, as long as you can get them through Amazon, I mean, and there's some good price, like the Mini 5 Pro. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. There's some good prices out there on these, and people were not happy not being able to buy from DJI. Well, we're able to buy through Amazon, and I know there's several, it's actually through Amazon in a couple of instances. So, and I got a second Mini 5 Pro, and it was here in like 4 days. I mean, no questions. And the nice thing about Amazon, returns are easy peasy if you want to do that within the return window. So, okay. I was on my soapbox about that for a little bit here. Okay. What the article out there that really kind of, this one kind of grabbed my attention right away is the mini 4K deal makes drone flying ridiculously affordable. Mini 4K battery up to 31 minutes, $225 was $299. I mean, seriously, does it not get any better than that? Mini 4K combo, 2 batteries up to 62 minutes is $289. And mini 4K Fly More combo, 3 batteries, 93 minutes, $339. So, and again, those are all on Amazon. So, it's fantastic. And as you guys know, it really is true 4K, 3-axis gimbal stabilization, rock solid hovering, and return to home features and long battery life. Okay. You don't always see this kind of a discount. So when you do, you take advantage of it. And if you know of people that are looking to get into the drone space, this is absolutely absolutely perfect one to do that. Yes, I do, Bud Bieber, and that's a real good point. Yeah, I do have a back. It is sitting back there, and let me tell you a quick story about that. You can see that it's behind me. One of my friends from college, I graduated from college in 1980, and of course, one of the movies that was real popular during that time was Saturday Night Fever. Well, during our last college reunion, he handed out, it was hilarious. He went out and he found some of these albums, and he found ones that we were listening to, and he gave them away kind of like as door prizes. That's what I got. Was Saturday Night Fever. It's too bad I don't have a turn. And you know what? I have seriously considered, and I may do that, get a turntable. Because there's still something about listening to a good record. Now it's in good shape. I opened it up. I took a look at it, the sleeves and everything, and the records themselves not scratched at all. So yeah. So, because there's some classics out there that they have remastered on vinyl, that I would absolutely love to get. And well, I think you guys know one of the ones I would absolutely love to get. And, Frampton Comes Alive. Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. That was a good catch. Thank you. Yeah, Dr. Ted, we do too. And, we had a nice tribute to him last week, and, I still have posted a link to the obituary in there. And there also, just to let you know, you can contact his family. There's an email address to contact his family if you want to send your condolences and sympathies to. I'm sure they would greatly appreciate that. And again, I love seeing, he was the first one in the chat all the time, every week. And God bless him, and God bless his family. And just so sorry to hear that. Just like I said last week, when we lose a member of the drone community, we've all lost somebody. So, all right. Well, that is just absolutely incredible with the Mini 4K. I mean, that's just an absolutely positively incredible deal. And, that's one of those things that if you're looking to get something, don't hesitate. That's an incredible price. Oh, wow, Johnny Okie. Oh, wow. That is absolutely. Well, I'm a quick digression here. Okay. And I'm sorry. We'll get to drones here in a minute. Ron's going to join me here in just a little bit. Back in college, I started college in 1976, and Frampton Comes Alive had come out, I believe, that previous summer. And my parents, I could get any album I wanted to, I got Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy from Elton John. And if you looked on the back, it looked like there was this banner that was designed like an old. Well, there were nude women on the back of the cover there. Okay, they didn't say anything to me about that. All right, they really, really weren't too vocal about it. But my mom, she worked as an industrial plant nurse. All right, and some of the guys told her that Frampton Comes Alive, he says a bad word, and he shouldn't get that album. So I tried I had my own job. I had my own money. I mean, what? I was I was 18 at the time, and no. And I respected my parents' wishes and rules and everything. So the day I was dropped off for college, my mom forgot to give me a comforter because it was in Western Pennsylvania. It was going to eventually get cold. So she gives me $50. She says, "Get yourself a nice comforter. Go into town and do that." And the college I went to the town was Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, where Joe Namath was from. So what did I do after my mom left? I hiked it about 2.5 miles into Beaver Falls, found a Woolworth, believe it or not, went in, purchased Frampton Comes Alive, and you guess what was cranking on my turntable about, as soon as I can get my feet back to that my dorm room. That was just masterful. And unfortunately, I lost it, and the reason I lost it was because I moved out when I got divorced from my ex. So anyway, I digressed too much there. So I thought I'd give you a little anecdote about that. Okay, all right. Now, there was another article here from Jean DJ, and again, this is highlighting a couple of tough choices here. Mini 4K or flip. These DJI drone discounts make the choice tough. Okay, and we just went over what the Mini 4K is. It $239. In the flip, a Mini 4K combo was $359. The flip Flymore combo with RC2 screen controller, which is currently 15% off, is dropping from $779 to $659. Okay, which is it's $120 off, and that's a really good deal on that drone. And I know a lot of people. I know people that have had the flip have really liked it and they've enjoyed it. And again, these deals are on Amazon. And the nice thing about that is, if you find out that it wasn't one of the ones, that was going to suit you, you can always return it. And, because Amazon has that great return policy. And I think that's part of the reason why they do such a great business. I mean, they really, really, really do. Really do. I'm glad you did, Dr. Ted. I'm glad you did. I've been begging my wife to go to some of these concerts when they come in town, or usually there'll be better concerts in Orlando than there are here in Tampa, but we just kind of need to make that effort. And there he is, Mr. Ron Brown. How are you, sir?
Hello, Bill. How are you tonight?
Well, we're gonna have we've gone from Steeler coach search nation to Steeler head coach Mike McCarthy nation tonight, and we're gonna talk about that and talk about his press conference today, which was very interesting to say the least. Talking about some great deals right now. The mini is what, the 239 right now.
Mini 4K is what, 225 or?
Yeah, it's an incredible deal right now.
Marcus said that's the lowest he's seeing the price on that.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. I mean, just for that, it's like, what are you waiting for? All right, and you can get it with 3 or 2 batteries for under $300. I mean, that too. I mean, if you wanted to get the 2 battery version,
even the full banana is like only $339 with the 3 batteries in the case and whatever. And that's a drone build because it's been around for a while. DJI can keep making that and keep selling it in the US. Until something changes, because
and I think they will, Ron. That's a great point that you brought that up, because with its popularity and they're dropping the price and they're selling it, they'll probably need to get more units in. Amazon will, and DJI will be happy to supply them and say, look, if sales keep going, why not? We won't stop making it. We'll just keep cranking it out. And
right, we've seen that before. Other companies in other fields where sometimes a company will make a product just for one country.
That's true. That's very true. What was it? What wasn't? And I'm trying to remember. It was one of the minis was made specifically for the U.S. and I forget which one.
I do too.
Yeah. That was real interesting. Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, that was incredible that they did that. I mean, and it's something that you don't find nowadays. And of course, we're going to be talking about the firmware updates coming up here a little later on in the show. But it's real interesting here, and especially seeing this news that we've seen on this. Okay.
And how about them dropping 15% off the price of the anti-gravity A1 drone? Almost all the kits have dropped by 15%. So, for instance, the kit, like the most expensive kit, instead of being $19.99, is down to $16.99.
Yeah, I saw that, and I didn't see an article. I was hoping there was going to be an article about that today, but I didn't want to go ahead and mention that. And everybody was all hype on that and them coming out, and now it ends up because you guys had a great discussion on it last night with Eddie about the anti-gravity. And when you hear somebody like I'll use it as an example. When you hear somebody like Eddie who really, there's no drone that he really doesn't love. He's not getting it. And he talked about why he was not getting it last night. And it made a lot of sense. And I think for a lot of people too, I think the big thing, and Marcus mentioned last night too, the initial price point on that was high. Okay. They really kind of shot themselves in the foot with that in terms of their marketing the drone to us. And, you want to come in at a price point that's going to be kind of on the affordable side. And you're basically starting out getting a mini drone that really doesn't have what I would call all the bells and whistles like a Mini 5K for almost $2,000. But yet, and it's really kind of a first run. It's really an unknown. It's an unproven commodity. And trying to market this out there to the drone segment, that's not going to work. Okay. So
yeah, they did do their market research as far as what at least people in the U.S. would be willing to pay for that type of drone, because you make a good example. Like, say, for instance, you got the Avata 2 fly more combo with the goggles and the extra batteries. What does that cost? I mean, when that came out, what did that cost? Like $11.99, something like that. So much cheaper than this setup.
Yeah, and and that's right now.
And I realize the goggles themselves alone are at least $400. So nobody has those goggles yet because they're new. So that makes it high right off the bat.
Yeah, and because of that, it really kind of jacks that up. And I think what would have been better for them had they marketed a version with a controller like the RC2 controller, with a built-in screen on it instead of goggles. That way, it's going to cost a whole lot less than having goggles with it. And then, people have, and see, one of the things that, DJI's figured it out through the years, but one of the things is keeping the goggles powered and keeping enough of a power supply to them. And I think DJI's done better on that with their recent versions. But I know with the anti-gravity, I think you have to wear it on your belt and snake up a cord to it.
They have almost like kind of a necklace for it or whatever.
Okay,
so okay, a little more convenient.
Yeah,
but I see where you're going with it. Somebody said today they still say they're going to release a regular controller for it, so you'll be able to fly it like a standard camera drone. But the problem is that should have been available on day one. So somebody should have been an option to get a cheaper kit without the goggles on day one with just a standard stick controller.
Exactly.
And maybe price that, I think the base kit like is $14.99. Well, that's down to $13 something now with the 50% off. But say you could take that $14.99 kit, swap the goggles out for controller, and maybe sell it in the $1,000 ballpark.
That's true. Well, I know somebody last night was talking about how, purchasing the drone from Anti-Gravity themselves, and one of the drone reviewers put out there that Anti-Gravity won't take it back. All right. We
heard that from one person. I haven't heard that story from multiple sources.
Yeah, there was one person who put a video out there that he physically got ill from it, and he couldn't and he couldn't do it. And I understand that. One of the other things is if you're a Total Tech member like I am at Best Buy, and you purchase an item there, they have a very liberal return policy. Okay, so
Ken Herron and Drew and Rob, they bought their A1 from Best Buy and they returned it to Best Buy.
Yeah, and they were absolutely smart in doing that because of their return policy. They're very.
And Amazon.com they don't have all the. It's like 4 or 5 different kits. They only have maybe 2 or 3 kits, but they also have it. So if you bought off them, you go with the Amazon return policy,
and that's a smart way to go. And we're going to talk about coming up the Avata here in a minute. But one of the things that I wanted to mention was, with this and with the pricing and everything is, you want to attract people right off the bat to these, Ron. You don't want to come in so high that you're going to scare people away, but you don't want to go so low that people think it's an inferior product. You have to really do that. And you're right, what you said, their market research team really kind of failed them at this. And I think also too, they tried to accelerate this and they wanted to get it in before DJI got in the Avata 360. Okay. And they did. But I think, when they did this initially, when they had invited the drone reviewers in, it was at a central location, and they weren't given a unit per se to take home and test. They were given time there to go ahead and test it, and then given an SD card where they can download the files. So, I still think it was still I just still think even what was released probably isn't a real refined, polished product. And I think, a lot of the reviews have said that, in as much that, the build quality was there, but, the software, the video transmission system, lagging behind and so forth. There's been some things, as far as range is concerned, there's been a lot of concerns addressed about that. And for that kind of a price point, Ron, it better be like DJI. It better be right out of the gate, that I'm going to have crystal clear transmission, that I'm not going to have any problems, navigating it with the controller and so forth. And there's been a lot of these things that have come up.
And
now,
Bill, you know what else is concerning to me? That all the reviewers or influencers got the drone. I don't mean the sample one. They got the real drone. What did they get? At end of November, beginning December, and they all put out their initial videos, and maybe a couple of them even got that second video out. But guess what? Crickets. Nobody's done any more videos on it. Nobody's making videos of flight videos. The people that have it, the people who are given the drone, are even making videos about it. If you taken away their initial videos. So
yeah, exactly.
If it was such a great drone, wouldn't somebody still be flying it that got one for free?
Exactly. And I don't mean to pick on Russ, but he came out of the gate and he said, and he had 2 or 3 videos out there, like this was the best thing he had seen that's come out since the original Mavic Pro. He really touted it. And then he kind of cooled his jets about it as well, too.
And he said he was going to do a whole series of videos on it or whatever. And it's been a while since one's come out. Now, DD Fellows in the chat here, he bought it with his own money and he's pretty happy with it. So, but DD, he's probably one of the only people I know that bought it with their own money and didn't return, has kept it and pretty happy with it. So
that's
again, like we said last night, we're all playing armchair quarterback, Bill. We haven't flown the drone. We're just based on what we see. Now, I did see Ken Heron and Drone Rob fly it live at at the Boardwalk meetup, and neither one of them were too excited about it.
Yeah, and when somebody like Ken Heron isn't excited about it, and Ken's usually pretty open. He's pretty open to drones.
Yeah, Ken doesn't get said stuff, so he's honest because he's not getting say anything for free.
Exactly.
Whether you like Ken or not or whatever, he's not singing the company line on anything.
Exactly here, and this is going to kind of lead us into our talk about the Pocket 4 and Avata 360. And the first thing I want to do is, there was an article out here on Drone XL, and I know you guys talked about it last night, but I want to talk about it as well, because I actually looked them up. The company out here, it's US. Is it US Drone Supply?
Yes. They said the article said they're a San Diego-based company.
Right. And they list some kits available for sale here. What activated once really means every DJI drone must be activated the first time it's powered on using a DJI account. The process registers the drone's serial number on DJI servers and permanently marks it as activated. A drone can never return to an unactivated state, even if it's never flown. Activation creates a digital history tied to that unit. For buyers, this means the drone is no longer factory fresh in strict sense, and eligibility for services like DJI Care Refresh may be affected. Okay. U.S. Drone Supply lists the DJI Avata 360 as new, unsealed, activated, not flown. That combination of words is doing a lot of work, and I think that's one of the things here. And they say that on all their drones, okay? And I think what's happened here, and I've done some checking on it. I mean, they can do that, but they really can't advertise this as a new drone, Ron, because if they do so, it's really kind of like it should more or less be advertised as open box and be discounted instead they're not discounting this. Okay, these prices that they have listed here are insane. Okay?
Are the highest prices you're ever probably going to pay for. We remember the leaks about a month ago. We thought these going to be decent priced, but now this is they're as high price as the A1 here.
Yeah,
and you might as well buy an A1.
And like you guys said, and I'll say the same thing. I would avoid these people as much as possible. And if you're really itching to get an Avata 360, like all of us are, I am too. I'm going to wait till it's on eBay and find a good seller out there from South Korea or China or Japan.
You better throw South Korea out there. I just read that they're. I don't want to be political. Trump's going to put a 25% tariff on South Korea. So if that actually happens, we may be looking at more Japan.
Yeah, or China, because a lot of things that have come from China have not had that tariff on them. And the Avata 360 international version problem, U.S. drone supply states clearly these drones are international versions and the DJI's U.S. warranty does not apply. They also state they themselves provide no warranty coverage here and shipping and warranty and everything. They're just a legitimate company, uncomfortable model. And they're right. And whoever did this article here, they're right about that. They are a legit company. But I mean, why would you want to go ahead and go out there and get an open box or, what a lot of us would consider a returned item and pay a premium price for it? I mean, their prices have all been premium. And I know a lot of people have actually gotten drones from them. All right. And they've been pleased with them. But, for me, if it's turned on, if it's activated already, I mean, that is my responsibility. I mean, as a new drone owner, when I fire it up, and make sure the battery's charged enough, it's going to be activated under my account in my name. So, why they're doing all this, I really kind of don't understand, Ron. It just boggles my mind here. But I know I can say this, looking at their prices on everything, looking at their catalog, which I've done and I've gone out there and I've looked, they're way above prices, way above what they should be.
Agreed. And, the only advantage of buying from this U.S. drone supply is, you don't get any support warranty. You don't get DJI care refresh. And I guess the only consolation is, well, you won't have to pay a tariff because it's shipping from inside the U.S. But at these high prices, even if you bought from Asia and you had to pay $30, $40, $50 tariff, you'd still be paying less than those inflated prices.
Exactly. That's a good point, Ron. These inflated prices are just out of this world. And again,
I mean, you think you're not paying a tariff, but you still are paying a tariff because those people probably pay a tariff. So they're just passing along the cost to you. So you really are paying a tariff when you buy from U.S. trade supply because they're passing the cost of the tariff along to you in the pricing.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that I think that a lot of people, are missing in all of this here is when you're getting those drones from South Korea and Japan and China, mine was wrapped in plastic and it had the DJI seal, which is this piece of plastic over the edge between the edge of the box there that's not broken. Okay. When
with that little pull tab. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's a pull tab. And that when it's on there, that product has not been opened. All right. And you're good to go.
Agreed.
That's never been a problem with anything I've
purchased from Asia, eBay, Asia. They've all had the pull tab on them.
Well, Koopy, yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up, John. They're passing on the tariff prices to us. And
I'm sure everybody's passing on tariff prices, but U.S. drone supply, those prices, are again, they're more than just tariffs.
Yeah. It's just the whole scheme of this is, Johnny Oki, that's a good point. P&H is an authorized art DJI retailer, and they don't exactly. Okay. And I think their prices are definitely less than what you see from this U.S. drone supply. And I think they got started trying to take advantage of a situation here. They probably have some kind of connection and pipeline to be able to get these drones and get them probably not at an extreme premium price, but they're passing on that cost to you, and they're basically selling you an open box item here. And that's why I would avoid them for the Avata 360. Keep doing like what you've been doing, like Ron and I have done, Marcus has done, and Johnny has done. Just go out onto eBay and look for sellers there over either in South Korea or Japan or China. So I know China, a lot of things that I purchased from China, there's no tariff on them. I just got the other day my Mini 5 Pro propeller guards from two boxes from China, and brand new in the box. I mean, there's just, legit 100% from DJI. So, and I did not pay a premium price for them. Yep. So, that's one of the things.
The same thing with eBay, Bill. Unless you don't care about how much you pay, unless, might not mean anything to you, don't buy on eBay right away, because those sellers, if the product first comes out, like we'll say the 360 here, it's going to be as high as you've ever seen it, right? As a week passes, 2 weeks passes, 3 weeks passes, that price is gradually going to come down to what the real price should be like versus the Neo 2. People that bought the full package with everything, they paid a little over $500 for it, and that price held for about a week or two. But I just waited, and I got $100 less. 2 weeks later, 2-3 weeks later, I paid $100 less for the same kit, and it wasn't just one eBay seller. Almost everybody's prices just gradually went down.
Yeah, exactly. And people see, Ron, they take advantage of people that are anxious, excited, and want to be the first adopters, early adopters on products. And that's okay. I mean, if you have that money that's burning a hole in your pocket and you need to go ahead out there and spend it, well, you're welcome to do that right off the bat. But realize, like you said, if you wait a week or so, you're going to see some stabilization with those prices, and there's not going to be much of a differentiation between them. And a lot of times what they do is they'll get real smart. Is you'll see a low price, but you'll go out there, and instead of saying like $10 shipping, they'll charge you $50 shipping.
Yeah, that's another trick too.
To kind of draw you in, and then you take a look. Always take a look, and before you hit that buy button, always take a look at what the shipping is. Sometimes it's free. Most of the time it's not. It's very negligible, but you need to go out there and check that, because if you think you're getting a low price and then you go to final checkout and it's more than one of the other drones that you were looking at, well, guess what? I mean, they kind of got you where the shipping was concerned. So,
and also look at the shipping dates, because sometimes they'll give you a date and there'll be a wide gap. They'll give you the original date maybe 5 days away, but the end date's 30 days away, right? And you can't get your, if you don't look at that right away, you can't get your money back, because you notice later on that the shipping date's 30 days away, or could be 30 days away. Until that passes or whatever, you won't be able to get a refund.
Exactly.
And the Neo 2 is not a good example. The Mavic 4 Pro is the best example, Bill. The people that bought that from anybody, US Drone Supply, BH Photo, any of the Asian buyers, they were paying $5,000 or better for it originally. But if you sat back and waited a month, 2 months on that, you were getting it for $3,500 or less. So you were saving yourself $1,500 by not being first.
Right. Absolutely. And that's the thing here is, having some patience will really pay off for you guys. Okay. You don't have to, there's nothing, okay. If you're so burning and design, I can see maybe content creators who are real anxious to get a review video out there being an early adopter. Okay. That's fine. And I get it. And I understand that. And that's part of the cost that maybe that you have in your channel, because, that's one thing I know, we don't talk about it a whole lot, but those of us that have channels, there are costs associated involved with running the channel. All right. We do get, when we're monetized, we do get some money each month. It's not a windfall. Every dime I get goes right back into the channel. It's not like I'm sitting here eating filet mignons and caviar every week. That's not happening. But, we need to be smart about our money. I know Ron is, I know Marcus is, I know Johnny is, others, we don't go out there and just, pop off and get some. Yeah. We sit back and we wait for things like that.
And being first really isn't being first, because even if you're you're the first consumer to get it or whatever, the influencers have already had it and they've had all their videos up. So even if you're first among people that bought it, you're still way behind the videos put out by the influencers. So, all those videos have sucked the air out of the room at least for the first couple weeks on those new products, anyways.
Exactly.
Where you can get around the influencers is they lose interest quickly. They don't make too many follow-up videos. Where people like you and I get it, we may make videos on the drone for a year, but the influencers, you may never see the drone on your channel again if the video didn't do well.
Exactly. Now I'm going to switch gears here just a little bit, and I don't have any graphics up here. There were some things out on X, but I mean they really didn't kind of say anything. There's been some speculation and things about the Pocket 4. All right.
Oh yeah.
And there's been some things that have shown.
Drone XL had a big article on it the other day, and most of the article was him referring to stuff that Igor said.
Right. I didn't get that on in time for the show, but there's an article out there from Drone XL that does talk about that, and it's looking more like that kind of a release is going to be delayed even further.
Yeah.
Why, I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, with something like this, and I want to stress this with you guys, with the Avata 360 and the Pocket 4, they have been approved by the FCC. They're not taking that away. They're not. Nothing is going to take that away. So we'll still be able to get them and be able to use them here legally in the United States. So don't worry. So don't be like, oh, I want to hurry up and get it. And nothing's going to.
Bill, there are rumors out there that only the Pocket 4 got approved and not the Pocket Pro. The Pocket Pro is the one with the two different cameras on it.
Okay.
Again, that's just rumor. I mean, almost everything I'm saying is somewhat rumor until it's out. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, we're at the mercy of Igor and
well, the biggest leak or the biggest theory that Igor had in that article was that a pocket camera with two cameras showed up this weekend, but he looked at it, it didn't match the other leaks to the Pocket 4. They're speculating that Insta360 now has their own pocket camera also to rival.
Right, I did see something out on X on that. Yeah. I did see. So that's something that we'll pay close attention to it. And if we get some more information on the FCC approval on the Pocket Pro, we'll let you guys know. But for now, the Pocket 4 is approved. That we do have verification of that is out on the FCC database. So, but you're going to have to be patient.
I don't. People thought it was coming at Christmas or whatever. Even right now, from rumors, what I'm hearing, I don't even know if we'll see it in February.
I think it's going to be it may be early second quarter that we'll probably see a Pocket 4. As far as the Avata 360 is concerned, I heard from several sources end of February, beginning of March.
Well, of course, that's a used drone supply says they're going to start shipping them at the end of February. So maybe they know something, maybe they don't.
Yeah, they might know something that we don't know.
I would not be surprised if that doesn't show up in February either.
That's true. That's very true.
Bill, there's no answers to this, whatever, and I don't want to go on too long about it, but we've heard that DJI, of course, with the drone ban restriction, whatever you want to say on the drones, that's going to apply to all their other devices like their cameras and microphones and so on, because they have they need FCC approval for the signals. But what's that mean for a company like this, the 360? Will they still be able to sell their action cameras and 360 cameras? Will they be restricted too?
Yeah,
I haven't read one word and Insta360 doesn't seem to be worried about it or whatever, or any other camera. Anybody that makes any type of other camera, whatever. Well, Canon, not what about Canon and Nikon or whatever? Sony, a lot. I mean, a lot of these companies are Japanese, but I know a lot of these companies make stuff, and the stuff's made in China. So will I not be able to buy a new Nikon camera that comes out this year? Because even those cameras, they have that wireless transmission to send the stuff to your phone now.
Yeah. Well, I heard you on last night on Drone Nation, and you made a good point. There are no cameras that are made in the United States right now. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not even camera parts, nothing.
Yeah. And here's the thing with this, and I don't want to start a big discussion about it, but okay. How there's no, I could get into data security and stealing stuff and everything.
And to basically every camera there is now, from a gigantic photographer camera that somebody's taking their wedding photo with it. They all have that ability to transmit data, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, maybe both. So there's no such thing as any camera at any level that doesn't transmit
Exactly,
signal.
Ron. That's exactly what I was going to say.
So
Thank you.
If that holds true, if DJI can't sell a camera because it has a wireless transmission, then nobody else should. So we won't have any new cameras of any type in the United States, for the foreseeing future, if that's true. And that's not going to happen, but there's going to single DJI cameras out and nobody else's, is what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. Absolutely here. And one of the next things, this article that I want to talk about, it's real interesting here, and this is kind of tied in with some of the things about pricing that we've talked about, and this was on Drone XL. And there was an NBC News came out and said FCC drone ban guarantees higher prices and fewer choices. NBC's could is wrong. Okay, and High put this out, and this was out on the 20th. It was about a week ago here, and the article kind of talks about that. I don't want to spend a lot of time, and again, it's posted out on Build a Drone Reviewer. Hobbyists and businesses face immediate cost increases. Okay, was what they were saying here. Public safety agencies face equipment crisis. Okay, and we've gone out there and we've shown Skydio cannot fill the gap. Exemptions do not solve the problem. Drone XL's take on this and everything. All right, for everything that I'm saying, we started off with the Mini 4K. We know the Flip's still on sale. We know the Mini 5 Pro is out there and on sale. You can get it for a decent price. I was able to get the Air 3S controller and one battery at an incredible price, Ron, out on Amazon. All right. And, these prices I think they're great. Now, in conjunction with this, and this is something that I do want to emphasize here, and I think, take this article for what it's worth, but go out there, and I know our friend Casey Crimefighter has done this, and thank you for talking about it, is he's gone out and he's gotten some extras for his drones as well too. And guys, you need to do that. Get the batteries, get the propellers, okay? Get prop guards if you want to, other accessories, or get a backup drone, because there's going to be a point in time that you're going to see have less inventory here, and that's going to drive up pricing. And that's the thing. You don't want to be faced with this, say 3 years from now, and say, you know what, Bill said, we should go out there and get extra batteries and props. And well, now, instead of paying $30 for props, I'm paying $130. And for batteries, instead of paying, $125 for batteries, I'm paying $500. Don't get caught in that situation. Go out there now, get these while they're plentiful. And they're out there. They're in great supply, whether it's China. And like I said, with China, they're not charging tariffs out there, because I've gotten quite a few items from China. It's a little slow in shipping, but, prices have been good and very reasonable. I've gotten extra batteries, props from them, and some other things, and it's been real reasonable. So go out there and do that. That's the one thing that I do want to recommend. Now, we're going to talk about, the first thing, the lead-in article for today, and I wanted to spend some time on this. Okay, FCC confirms drone firmware updates will continue until January 2027. And the first thing I saw from this, Ron, was people said the sky was falling. All right, and it was doomsday. It was you saw the nukes passing in the sky, and you're going to be in your underground shelter for the rest of your lives and all that kind of good stuff.
Right, but my drone will be bricked next January.
Yeah, and my drone's going to get bricked next January. You know what? All right, again, and I won't mention any names. There are some drone reviewers that are taking advantage of this. Okay, we're not taking advantage of this, and I know Ron and Marcus and Johnny and everybody last night and Ray, we're very much, like I am about this. Okay, you know what? It's a non-event, okay, as far as we're concerned. Because if you look at it and you look in the history, now I haven't done an in-depth research in history on firmware updates. How many of you are still flying the Phantom 4 Pro? I know Michael Wright is, all right? Phantom 4 Pro hasn't had updates for years, okay? He's still flying it. He's not having any problems with it. And that's going to be the same for us, guys. Now, and one of the other things that I wanted to say about this too, Ron, is, I've told people to go out there, and not do the over-the-air updates, but use Assistant 2 for consumers, which is a good thing to do. But remember this, all right? And you need to be real careful about this. And I wanted to make sure that I said this tonight when I saw the article come out, is you don't want to go out there and do this because, you know, if it's after the January 1st, I don't know if there's a specific date. I think there is, you know,
like a lot of people say in the chat, if you read the full article, it says at least it doesn't. I said this at least, but it could go long. It doesn't even specify that as a hard date if you read the full
right.
article.
Okay, and that's a good thing. You know, say it's after that hard date, whatever that date is. Okay, you go out there and do that, you're basically done something illegal. All right, and you don't want to go out there and do that. Okay, no firmware update unless and see, and this is another thing that I think DJI will probably get maybe a pass or an exemption from on the FCC if it's a critical update, if it's a critical flying update, so to speak. All right, for the drone itself. You know, where if it's not done, it could potentially crash or cause injury. Okay, I think they'll get the FCC to go ahead and approve firmware updates on a case-by-case basis like that. So the sky's not falling. Your drone's not going to be bricked come next January. Everything's fine. It's going to be business. You know,
and remember, drones that are over a year old rarely get any new features added to it, right? So
exactly, Ron.
By the time
Exactly.
this January 27th hits, drones like the Mavic 4 Pro, Mini 5 Pro, they're all going to be way over a year old. So very little chance they would have got any feature updates anyways. Mostly just bug fixes and things like that at that point. And you know how that goes, Bill. Sometimes the bug fixes they break more than they fix.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're really concerned about all this, at some point in this year, if your drone's flying perfectly, just stop updating. If you're all worried about this, wait until you find the perfect firmware where everything's you need on that drone is working 100%, and just don't update anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, and Michael Wright chimes in on this as well too. You know, we all get conditioned into doing these firmware updates, and in a lot of instances, I mean, it'll say something to the effect like fix some bugs, some bug fixes and miscellaneous updates. You know, if it's something like that, you know, I mean, you don't even know, they don't even tell you specifically what it is. I mean, you know, you can see ones that are adding new features, that kind of thing. All right, you probably want to do that if you want those features, and eventually, you know, you'll get to a point where you're kind of sort of forced to do the firmware update. You know, I just, for me, you know, this is really kind of a non-issue, Ron, but people are making this out to be an issue. This is one of these things in this instance is proceed as you have been. Okay.
It's a wait and see approach. I can't guarantee what's going to happen next year on the 27th, the firmware updates. You know, we could sit here and speculate. It's like us picking the Super Bowl next year, whatever. We're just speculating, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, this could be good. This could be bad. This could be nothing or whatever. We just don't know at this point. It's just too early or whatever.
Right. This is too early to go out there and to do anything. You know, my advice is go out there, fly your drone, enjoy it. All right. And still, my advice still carries as far as getting extras are concerned, like props and batteries. And if you want to buy a backup kind of a drone, if you have the money and can afford it, do it. I mean, you know, because if you're using it out there for a business or you're enjoying it so much as a hobby, you know, don't stop. There's nothing stopping you guys.
And on this firmware update, just we'll do it for you. We're going to circle back next December of this year. We'll circle back in December when we're closing to the date and take a closer look at it.
Exactly.
But it's not like you can prepare for it one way or the other, right? It's not like buying extra props and batteries. You can't prepare for this.
No, there's no.
The only preparation is, like I said, at some point, if you have a real good firmware update in your drone, just stop updating anymore.
Exactly. You know, you have to. Yeah, you go out there and you realize, you know, there's not a lot of things that you can do in some instances. All right, and this is an instance where you can't do a thing about it. So go out there, fly what you have, enjoy what you have, get extras if you can, and you know, use it for your business, use it for your hobby, and have fun. And come join us on Drone Nation and Rotor Talk and Johnny and Ray shows and the others. You know, have fun, enjoy your drone. I mean, Don't go out there, stick your head between your legs, and kiss your, goodbye. No, there's no doom and
Or
gloom
better,
here.
don't sell all your drones just because firmware updates are going to maybe stop next January. Maybe, as again, they said at least it may not be January. It may be April. It may be never.
Exactly. And do yourself that favor and do that here.
I
I think,
remember the people that run the FCC now may not be running the FCC in the future.
and that's very possible. And then also too, just keep this in the back of your mind. All right. I think it's going to be in March. I'm not exactly sure when, but Trump is going to be meeting with President Xi of China, and some things may happen then. I know that there's going to be some exchange of commodities, and there'll be some what I've seen already. Where we'll give them some food stores like grains and rice and things like that in exchange for some of those rare earth minerals that they have over in China. And there may be other things that they negotiate as well too. And so stay tuned for that. Something may positively happen in this instance and in this space when we don't know about it. So just hold on. Our big message is I can speak for Ron's and Marcus's channel and for Johnny and Ray and everybody. Go out there and enjoy your products, enjoy your drones, fly them, enjoy them, post videos out there, have fun. That's why we're here, and we have the South Florida Drone Meetup. Ray, I'm putting a plug in for you guys. Okay. That's coming up here second weekend in April, and the first weekend in April's Easter this year. So that's why it's been moved to the second weekend. And Ray said last night, there's still rooms available at the Hampton Inns. So, if you can get there, because you will enjoy being able to see and rub shoulders with and talk to everybody. That's the best part about going to these meetups. Okay. 100%, just 100%. So,
well, I think in the short term, the best thing can happen to the drone community is that shadow ban that the border and customs people do. They do not let DJI drones in the country or DJI products because of the Uyghur situation. If they could just make that go away, then our lives would be much better. We could order directly from DJI again. We could get all those batteries and props and whatever for what the real cost is. We could get care support again. I know it would be on the older products, but I would welcome all that stuff to come back.
Exactly. That would be great if they could get that.
Just by getting, they've locked us down with this FCC and whatever now. I mean, just let up on the weaker thing or whatever,
Exactly. I agree, Ron. That would make life so much easier.
And you think Stefanik, leaving the Congress here sometime in first half of this year, do you think that will slowly go away when she leaves?
It's possible, I can't really speak to that. I know Rick Scott is still around and going to be a senator for a few more years in Florida.
Okay,
here.
He's still around for okay.
Yeah. So, all right, it's that time of the show here.
Oh boy.
And it's now we're now calling this Steeler head coach Mike McCarthy Nation.
The great search is over already, huh?
The search was very fast and it was over here. And I have some thoughts that I want to get out there about this. And the first thought that I wanted to get out here, Ron, was the Cowboys
officially. Mike accepted the job officially today.
Today he signed. Yes, he signed with the Steelers today. All right. Number one, the first thing that I wanted to say was this. Okay. And I'm going to be speaking. There's several things the first thing is, if he was such a hot commodity, why was he not a head coach the last 2 years? Okay. He sat the last 2 years without being a head coach since he left the Cowboys.
I think it was only one season, right? Yeah, he
one. Okay,
and when he got fired, whatever you want to say, they parted ways in Dallas. He said, I think at the time he said at that point he was going to sit out. So I don't think he interviewed in the last cycle.
Okay. Well,
this is the first go around doing interviews.
That kind of answers that question. The second point is, and this is and I've heard it from several sources. Okay, the rumor was that Aaron Rodgers went to Rooney and said, "Look, I'll come back for another season if you hire Mike McCarthy as head coach." and it's legit. I mean, I thought at first it was a joke, but I went out onto X And there are multiple people, reputable people, ESPN and other sports talk channels and things that have come out there and said that Roger said that he'll come back for a season if they hire McCarthy.
And why that's funny is Rogers always got the blame for getting McCarthy fired in Pittsburgh. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that's what kind of made me laugh at that is like, okay, that's just absolute insanity.
Maybe those rumors are untrue all those years about him getting McCarthy canned. Who knows?
Exactly.
And at the press conference, they asked McCarthy. They said, "Would you want Aaron Rodgers back as your quarterback?" And McCarthy, without a split second, said, "Who wouldn't want Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback?"
Exactly. Okay. Now, one of the other things is, and I wanted to mention this too. Mike McCarthy went to a Catholic high school in the community that I grew up in. Okay. I did not know him because he graduated after me, but I have a lot of my friends that graduated with him at that Catholic high school and knew him very well.
He mentioned it in a speech today.
Yeah. And he has a lot of, born and raised in Pittsburgh. I mean, he mentioned, when he was brought home from the hospital, he was brought home in a Steeler towel. Okay.
Yeah.
And he bleeds black and gold. And I understand all that. And I got to say this, it was a very emotional speech that he gave today. It really tugged at the heartstrings. And Ron, I'm going to say this. All right. In 19 years, I never heard Mike Tomlin. I've never saw him emotional. Okay. Bill Cowher, was an emotional head coach, up and down that sidelines all the time. All right. And you know what? What really encouraged me today was hearing the emotion in his voice. Okay. And he said he wants to bring a 7th championship to the city of Pittsburgh. All right. I never heard that. I mean, and he was in tears today when he was talking during his speech. Never even saw Tomlin close to that.
Very emotional
the whole
speech.
Time, the whole 19 years he was there. Okay. I think he's going to bring a lot of fire and enthusiasm. I think probably what's going to be real critical with this is who he's going to pick for offensive and defensive coordinators.
Well, I got a note updating that today. The Cowboys tight end coach came to Pittsburgh to interview for the offensive coordinator position.
There you go.
I'm guessing that guy worked for McCarthy in Dallas.
Probably, more than likely. They need to get things in gear here. And, anybody that stepped into the role as head coach for the Steelers was going to be facing a lot. All right. I mean, it was really, you're at a crossroads as far as a quarterback is concerned. Your defensive and offensive coordinators were a total mess the past year. Some life.
Arthur Smith's interviewing for an offensive coordinator position out of college, so he's not even a good pro anymore. He's not even getting a head coach in college. He's moving to he's making a lateral transition. Arthur Smith is going to go to Ohio State. College,
he's going to go to Ohio State. So all after all is said and done, it was kind of a quick process. I think Rooney had his mind made up. I think that there was not a lot of this. But I've also heard, and somebody put this out there, and I've repeated it, mediocre Mike 2.0, okay? Because his record, as you look at it with the Cowboys, he did well. He had winning records there, and usually it was one and done in the playoffs or maybe 2 games and done in the playoffs for him, okay? He never got the Cowboys
very
over
few
the
playoff
hump.
wins in Dallas, yes.
Yeah, and if you're playing for Jerry Jones, come on. Be realistic here, okay? There's only thing what Jerry Jones wants is for you to go in and win a Super Bowl, okay? Nothing else is going to make him happy, all right? And that's the kind of person that he is. God bless him, okay? He's an owner, and he has that right to do that there.
The Pittsburgh ownership could use a little bit of that spirit, huh?
Yeah, exactly here, and that's why, and I said this after Tomlin resigned, that Mike Tomlin was part of the problem. He wasn't the problem. Okay.
And did you see that somebody compared Mike McCarthy's coaching record to Tomlin's coaching record? Very, very similar in everything.
Right.
They both have one Super Bowl victory. They both have about the same amount of wins. Their winning percentage is real close. But other habits they have, neither one's did well in the playoffs a year. All their past success, Super Bowls, championship games, they've all come early in their coaching career, not at the end. And that speech he made, somebody made a comment down below. They said, Mike McCarthy, he'll go 10-7 and lose in the first round. And so basically, if that happens, you're getting what you already had, right?
Yeah, I mean, here you are. It's like Groundhog Day. I mean, it's wash, rinse, repeat. And that's
what he did in Dallas, basically. And Dallas and his last years in Green Bay, he could still produce a team that could either win the division or get to the playoffs. But once he was in there, it was usually a quick exit.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that I'm the most concerned about is them repeating this kind of thing. And and I know a lot of people were out there saying to me, "Well, be careful what you ask for," and all that kind of stuff. Well, you know what? Okay, who I was strongly in favor of getting was Sean McDermott from the Bills. I thought the Steelers needed, and they still do. And is McCarthy the right pick? Only time is going to tell on that, Ron.
Okay. And he's an older coach, so it's not like he's going to be there for 20 years or something like that. He's basically, in what a 5 to 10 year window before he's retiring.
Exactly. Okay. And that was one of the things that kind of concerned me as well too. When you look at coaches, the kind of head coach that I wanted was somebody like a Sean McDermott or like a Dan Campbell from the Lions, okay, or like the what's his name from the Broncos, or
well, he's an older coach too, but
too.
I mean, if you can get Sean Payton,
he's kind of older too, or oh gosh, what's his name? The Texans head coach, okay, who I really admire.
The linebacker, linebacker.
So looking to kind of keep shift things more towards an offensive kind of a minded set,
almost like Jacksonville did. They brought that guy over from Tampa Bay, and he turned that team in an offense around in 1 year.
Exactly. I mean,
he gets there, and Trevor Lawrence has a career year.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence was okay until this guy comes in, and then boom, he has a career year in everything. And only time will tell as far as this is all concerned. So sit back, put your seatbelts on and see. And I'll make a prediction as far as the Super Bowl is concerned. I like Mike Vrabel. Okay, I followed him. I lived in Columbus when he went to Ohio State. I followed him when he was with the Steelers. He played for the Patriots. This is the first time, Ron.
He said his first coach was Bill Cowher.
Exactly. Okay. And this is the first time that someone who played for a team and is now the head coach of that team has gone to a Super Bowl. That's never happened before. But Seattle's going to win this game. All right. There's just no question about it. I mean, I think the Patriots had what I'm going to say this. They had a Cinderella season this year. Okay. A lot of things.
And they got lucky in the championship game, and that team's quarterback didn't play.
Yeah, the quarterback didn't play, and the weather was horrible in Denver.
And they still barely won.
Yeah, and they still and they barely won. I mean, they're not a high-powered, high-octane offense. And,
I mean, they were the week before against Houston, but that was a lot of Houston turnovers that led to a lot of that.
Yeah, Houston kind of gave them the game. So I mean, it's kind of like, the Patriots are back in the Super Bowl, but it's not a Tom Brady that
and Seattle, I agree. They're my early favorite, and they had a great season. But you know what? If the Rams special teams lost that game or whatever, if the Rams special teams, the guy muffs the punt or whatever, their special teams have been banned all year long. There'll probably be a Super Bowl chance that they had better special teams.
The Rams were very close to winning that game.
Offensively, Seattle couldn't shut down the Rams passing attack. Nakua had his usual 150 plus yards, 10 catches. They couldn't shut that. They really didn't shut the Rams offense down.
It was a great game. I really that was a game. I mean, not to say I didn't enjoy the Patriots and Broncos, but I enjoyed watching Seattle.
I mean, by the end of the Patriots Broncos, you couldn't even see the field of the snow and the weather.
That's true. That's very, very, very true. That's very true. So.
Yeah, the Seattle game was definitely the type of game you want to see in the playoffs. Two good teams battling out, going right down the wire. And as typical as in those type of games, usually a big play determines those claims. In this case, is a special teams faux pas. Hey, back to McCarthy just for a minute. He said something interesting in the press conference. He's the only guy that ever coached all three iconic NFL teams: the Packers, the Cowboys, and the Steelers.
Wow. That's a really good point.
Like the three most legendary teams. He will have coached them all.
Well, let's hope he cements his legend by doing something that no one else has done, is winning a Super Bowl against the Steelers, and then coaching the Steelers and winning a Super Bowl for the Steelers.
And had Rodgers came back, both of them would win one for the team they beat at one point. But
Yeah,
and McCarthy,
I mean,
he even said when the parade, he even named the streets that the parade was going to start on because, like you said, he knows the city like a local.
oh yeah, I mean, he knows the city like the back of his hand. I knew exactly where he grew up. I knew exactly where he grew up. So, he's a hometown hero.
And I guess he knows the media probably too, so he knows how the media is going to treat him, ahead of time.
He's gonna get a pass for a while from the media there. Okay,
but not too long, right?
But not too long. All right, he's gonna have he'll have a leash. It probably it will be kind of short as far as the media is concerned because they want somebody to come in and make a difference and turn the team around. So we'll be keeping an eye on that.
Right.
So
I mean, for them to make a big turnaround, they're going to have to add some playmakers, especially on offense.
Yeah, they need to get some wide receivers in. They need to shore up that offensive line.
And he's a guy. He came from being an offensive coordinator, so he's much more offensive minded than Tomlin was. Tomlin came from being a defensive guy.
Right. So
McCarthy, whoever he hires as defensive coordinator, they're probably hands off. They're going to be able to run their system. But the offensive coordinator, he's going to have McCarthy, with his fingers in there too.
He's going to have his thumbs on it, absolutely, the whole time.
Which may not be a bad thing, but
that's true. That's very true.
And his Dallas teams and his Green Bay teams, they all moved the football. You know what I mean? They had good offenses. As far as moving the ball and scoring.
That's true. That's very true. So,
I mean, of course, he came from Dallas where he had a passing quarterback. And what's their quarterback's name?
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, who he pretty much throws for 4,000 yards every year. They had Pro Bowl receivers, so he doesn't quite have that talent there now in Pittsburgh. Well, older Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know if he has all the weapons that McCarthy had in Dallas.
That's true. That's true. So, any final thoughts here, Ron, before we wrap things up?
No, it's again, it's winter here. I'm not flying much to the Northeast. Bill, I saw Florida even had some chilly weather today.
Yeah, it was 29 this morning, and this weekend, Saturday, we're supposed to have snow flurries on Saturday.
Oh wow! We're supposed to have some snow too. I'm buried under a bunch of ice, Bill. We had like 6-8 inches of snow, and then sleet fell on top of it. So I had snow coated with ice. I still haven't got the car out, Bill. I'm still working on it outside there. So we'll be back with our final Super Bowl picks next Tuesday, right, Bill?
Yeah, we'll give
you the whole lot. Well, maybe instead of Pittsburgh Nation next week, we'll do Super Bowl Nation, Bill. How's that
Absolutely.
So yeah, my final thoughts, just again, it's that time. If you ever thought about the A1, now's the time to look at it, I guess. And otherwise, if you want to wait for that DJI 360 drone, hang in there. I don't think it's going to be as soon as you want it to be.
Yeah, I think Ron is right here. So, I agree with everything that Ron has said, and thank you guys for tuning in weekly for our Steeler talk. That's been good. I know a number of you guys have stayed to do that, so we appreciate that here. As always, the drone meetup is coming up. April will be here before you know it. If you need to see and get information, see Ray Kelly. He'll be able to provide everything to you guys. That's it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and as always, it's a great day to fly. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest.